Digital dementia. This is a real medical term right now. This is the idea that we're outsourcing our brains to our smart devices. We're so reliant on our smartphones that our smartphones are making us stupid.
There is a subconscious reaction to these devices when we use them, okay? What if I were to hold my phone while I'm talking to you? I'm not checking it, it's not buzzing, it's not beeping. I'm nothing, I'm just holding it. Do you feel at this moment that you are the most important thing to me right now? No, you do not. We're so addicted. Somebody goes to the bathroom when we're at dinner, and what do we have to sit there by ourselves? God forbid we should look around the room for 5 minutes. We pull our phones out. Meetings, awful. What do we do when a meeting happens, right? Everybody's sitting waiting for the meeting to start. Bob's running a few minutes late. Bob's here? Okay, start the meeting. Do you know when relationships are built? All that in between time.
I just don't understand! But guess what? I do not!
You'll see the youngest employees have their phones face up in front of their keyboards between their arms as they're working. And this is how they work. And the science is alarming. They did experiments on mice where they did the multitasking. They put flashing lights to mimic going from the computer to the cell phone, the computer to the cell phone to the TV. The mice that were exposed to the changing lights, it took them 3 times longer to solve a maze than the mice that weren't, and the damage was permanent. It didn't improve when they stopped the lights.
'Cause
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you, as the future leaders of the world, to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on.
% of 18 to 29-year-olds are on social media. We spend on average 2 hours a day there. We don't even eat for 2 hours a day. 70% of the Canadian population is on social media. Our voter turnout isn't even 70%. Anything we do this often is worthy of critical observation.
We know that engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, it feels good, right? So, we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a bit lonely, and so you send out 10 texts to 10 friends, hi, 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 because it feels good when you get a response, right? Right? It's why we count the likes. It's why we go back 10 times to see if my Instagram is growing slower. Did I do something wrong? Do they not like me anymore? Right? The trauma for young kids to be unfriended. Right? They don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their lives, they're not turning to a person. They're turning to a device. They're turning to social media. They're turning to these things which offer temporary relief. We know, the science is clear, we know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook. And the fact that you cannot put it away is because you are addicted. Right? If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse.
I just don't understand! But guess what? I do not!
Okay, maybe you see someone that looks better than you or you think looks better than you. You have time to process that. You think about it. You stir on it, maybe you dwell some emotion on it, maybe it frustrates you, maybe it doesn't. But then it happens on social media, where people are gloating. They're putting their abs in your face, they're putting their biceps in your face, they're putting their fake breasts in your face. It's all there. But what's happening is it's happening so fast that we're never able to process it and internalize it in a way to make it positive.
People have to understand, are you using your device or is your device using you? Can you put it down? Can you turn it off?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth.
Movie theaters like AMC are talking about changing their policy to allow smartphones to be on and be used during films, even though the entire point of going to the movie is supposed to be to actually watch the freaking movie. And as I've mentioned many times before, because it still blows my mind, certain countries are installing special smartphone user sidewalks to try and keep people who can't even afford to pay attention while walking outside near traffic from being turned into street pizza. Facebook has now been referred to as the best human research lab ever. And as Kashmir Hill of Forbes points out, there's no need to get experiment participants to sign pesky consent forms, as they've already agreed to Facebook's data use policy. A team of Facebook data scientists are constantly coming up with new ways to study human behavior through the social network. And experts are even warning that children spending all their time on these kinds of devices are showing a startling lack of ability not only to read other people's emotions, but a lack of being able to show empathy.
I just don't understand. But guess what? I do not.
Happy and healthy. These are the stock answers most parents give when asked what they want for their young children, when deep down what they really want is for them to be quietly occupied. For centuries, that was achieved through rocks and sticks and imagination. Then came comic books and TV, and now we have the iPad and the smartphone. But while they are great restaurant distractions, what are all those touchscreens doing to all those growing little brains?
70% of parents admitted to letting their kids use their user-friendly devices. But some worry about what it's doing to their tiny developing brains. The iPad didn't even exist 3 years ago, so there's no hard data yet. Is it shrinking their attention spans, ruining their eyesight, or perhaps stunting their social skills?
All right, no, you're already playing on that. No, lady. No!
The center tested something known as distractibility. First, the kids aged 3 to 5 are given iPads to play with. The grown-ups call their names and see how readily they respond.
Jackson, what are you playing?
I want to see you make the letters. Touch the screen with your fingers.
And Lucas, what are you playing over there? Lucas. Serena, what are you matching? Serena.
Meanwhile, the only toddler who managed to resist its magnetic pull never fully tunes out her environment.
Vivian, do you want to come play with the iPads? No? You can keep playing that if you'd like.
Next, the tablets are confiscated.
Oh, you're sad they're going away.
It seemed to the researchers that the toddlers become more verbal, more social, more creative creatures.
I just don't understand. But guess what? I do now.